If you haven't been seeing the results that you want in your life, it's because you don't have commitment to yourself. I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, and I'm sorry to be the one to break this to myself, because I'm calling myself out, so I'm calling us both out with this. But in order for you to see the results you want, the life you want, to manifest the life you want, even if like when it comes to law of attraction, this applies as well, you need to have commitment towards yourself, or you need to have more commitment, because maybe you're like, Ada, but I have commitment towards myself. I've been committing to this and this. There's a reason, or there's some kind of way where like your energy is kind of just like drifting away to other things, and you're committing way too much to other people, other situations or something that are taking like your commitment energy away. And in my case, I'm going to talk about my specific case, because this is how I feel like my committing energy has kind of like went away. But I feel like for everyone else, it could be a family situation, it could be a work situation, it could be whatever. In my case, I am the kind of person who is like still healing relationship trauma, and I've been in a relationship for the past 2 and something years. And the thing is, I'm the kind of person who always worries that if there's no drama in my relationship, that something is wrong, or that something is gonna go wrong. So I start to over worry, and I start to like send all my life energy, my life force, whatever, into worrying about that relationship, which means I have less energy to commit to myself. When I was single, I used to be the person who would wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, do her affirmations, go for a workout, do this, do this, do this, do this, all of these things. And I was 200% committed to myself. The problem is, because of my relationship trauma, because of my toxic like childhood trauma, every time I get into a relationship, I shift back into being this person who like tries to get my partner to commit to me, even when I'm not committing to me. So I'm committing to this person, which I'm not saying that it's wrong to commit to your partner, because you absolutely have to. But I think it's very important that you maintain a balance with like committing to yourself and committing to them. And first thing, if you're attracting also like commitment phobic people, it's because you're not committed to yourself. The moment you commit to you and you're like, okay, what are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? What is this? What is that? That's when you will start seeing real progress in your life, and when you will have other people wanting to commit to you, and you can also obviously commit to them. Like, I'm not saying that's not something that you gotta do or can do, but it's just important that you're first and foremost committed to yourself, to your life, and to your goals. So if you've been in a time, like whatever, how long that was, where you haven't been committing to yourself because you used to be very committed to yourself, or maybe you've never been, and then you're like, okay, but I want to go back to like the person that I was, or I want to go into being the person that's 100% committed with herself. How do you do that? I feel like for me, I just stopped being committed to myself at some point, because I started to kind of like prioritize the other person, prioritize their needs, prioritize the relationship. And that's what you cannot do. Like, I'm still not saying that the relationship cannot be a priority, but your mental health and your well-being and your needs and everything need to be at least at the same level of the relationship. If you put the relationship a bit forward, no, that's not gonna work. Especially if you've been in a place where like you were not committing to yourself for a long time. So the way that I see this is that at some point you stop trusting yourself, and you stop trusting that you were there for yourself. And I feel like the fact that you're not committed to yourself always leads, like even if it's like a family member who you have this problem with, or like a work situation or whatever, you end up expecting that person or that situation to give you what you should be giving yourself. And then you start resenting the other person, and then you start having problems and feeding into another drama situation that just like depletes you more from this energy and doesn't allow you to grow and progress over this. So what I'm about to tell you is like, the only thing that you need to be doing to start to commit to yourself more is commit for 5 minutes a day to do one thing for you every day for the rest of the year, for example. I mean, obviously you can progress this. I'm going to explain how to do that. But I think what happens over time is like when you stop like committing to yourself, when you stop being committed to your goals, to your dreams, whatever, you stop trusting yourself. And when you stop trusting yourself, you need to rebuild that trust. And the way to do that is by doing one small little thing, and it's like holding a promise to yourself that I'm gonna do this for 5 minutes every day from today till the end of the month, for example. I feel like I usually do this for like 30-day periods, and then I add more things to it. For example, I will say I'm gonna start meditating every day from today till the end of the month. Well, not the end of the month, but like 30 days into the month. And then I will have to hold myself to that promise. And it needs to be something that's easy. That's the important thing, that it needs to be something that you cannot sabotage yourself on doing, because if you tell yourself like, oh, I'm gonna meditate 30 minutes every day, I'm gonna go for a run every day, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and then you will end up breaking one of the promises, you will go back to square one or even behind square one, you know? It needs to be something that's easy, so that for the first month you're kind of like building your confidence again and you're building your commitment to yourself again. So as I said, it should be something easy, something that you can do, something that you have time to do, and something that doesn't have too much resistance, like meditating for 5 minutes a day, going for a walk for 5 minutes a day, drinking 2 liters of water, which takes maybe 5 minutes a day on the whole day. I don't know. It needs to be something easy. And once you've done that for like 30 days, then you add and you feel confident that, okay, I can continue to maintain this. I will add another thing, or I will extend that thing. Maybe if you've been going for like a 5-minute run, I'm going to do a 10-minute run. Or if you've meditated for 5 minutes, you're going to extend it to 10 minutes or something like that. And the important thing is also, like, even if I'm telling you that this is something that you should maintain and that you need to do every day, if you were to fail any day, you forgive yourself and you start over the next day. Not start over from the beginning, you just continue. You do as if nothing happened, because it's important that you're also like empathetic and compassionate with yourself, and that you also like don't, you know, like make yourself feel bad for like failing for a day, because you have to keep in mind that you've spent I don't know how much time not committed to yourself, and this is something that you want to change, and this is something that's helping you change, and like beating yourself up about it is not going to help. So if there's one thing that's on your goal list for 2023, or for any year if you're watching this in the future, maybe this video is still up in the future, I don't know, make it to be committed to yourself. And the second thing that comes into play with this is accountability. And that's something why I recommend, like, even if you don't have the money for this, even like if you only write it on a piece of paper, is to get, you know, one of those journals, like self-growth journals, whatever they're called, that have like a weekly review, a daily review, a monthly review. You can even do that on a piece of paper and just like ask yourself the questions, because I think most of these things are on the internet anyway, because I do them on my iPad basically. So you just have to take some time each day, each week, each whatever, to kind of like sit down with yourself and be like, okay, what have I done this week? What have I done this month for myself? And kind of list down all these things, because I've realized that there was a time in my life for like 2-3 years where I was manifesting like everything, just like ba 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 ba. Everything was just happening for me so effortlessly. And it stopped happening the past 2 years. Why? Because I stopped having commitment with myself. And this was one, because of the relationship with the person that I'm with right now. Even though I'm with someone who like supports me in this and that, but he used to cause me anxiety at the beginning, and I've had to work through so many like relationship trauma shit that I feel like I'm in a better part on the other side now, but it's taken some time to get there, you know? So since I've been working through this, I feel like maybe now I'm in a point or in a place where I'm stable enough to do that. I've also moved back in with my parents, who are not the most healthy people, which is also obviously not helping. So there's like a variety of things that kind of like made me go down, but I need, or you need, to be focused on like yourself and be like, okay, what can I do with my time? I know that for people who maybe work 9-to-5 jobs, this might be more or less difficult. But for example, me, this year, I've been freelancing. I've been working like maybe 4 hours a day maximum. So I had so much free time. I haven't started learning Japanese, which was one of the goals for this year. I haven't done yoga every day, which is something that was so easily doable for me. Sorry. But it's one of those things that I thought I was gonna be able to do. And I did rest this year, because I feel like this year was one of those years where I finally kind of went out of the like hamster spinning wheel where like I used to be working, hustling 24/7, and this year's been like I finally can do whatever I want during my whole day, because I have my clients. I know that I can work for them like a few hours a day, and I don't need to be like killing myself for money. But at the same time, I was also never really fully capable of enjoying my free time, because I was always like, oh, I need to look for more clients, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. So it's been one of those things where I needed to also like be very committed and be very like accountable with myself, with like, this is your working time, this is your free time, and to also kind of like organize yourself, because I've always been a very chaotic person. But I feel like some chaotic people can work with this, and I just need to kind of like separate things more, because I'm doing 300 things that I'm like, I have 2 YouTube channels, a TikTok account, I produce lo-fi music, I have my clients in TikTok strategy, I have my course clients, I have like a lot of things. And if you don't manage to get organized to do all of these things, you're gonna end up crazy. Because it's like that one meme that says like, I used to work 8 hours a day for a paycheck and now I work 24/7. And I thought that would be freedom. And sometimes it isn't. I feel like that's one of those things where like, I feel like it just takes time to kind of like adapt to it, get organized. And in my case, it's also been probably that like this shift of like working for people to working for myself that has affected me, and that I need a more clear structure on my life to kind of like, you know what I mean? To be like, I'm gonna be working these hours or these days a week. These days I'm gonna be using for like my own projects. These days are gonna be for like free time. Because I just got everything confused and I ended up spending entire weeks watching Netflix. Like from the morning to night, I was just like, I'm depressed again, I'm this and that. And honestly, I haven't been to the therapist, so like I might have like a little bit of depression there. But I don't know, I should maybe check that with a therapist. But I've always feel like I've been high functioning enough so that I don't think that I have depression, but sometimes like my energy levels just go into the toilet for like no reason. But I think it's been like, as I said, a few situations like at home with my partner, with my friends, with whatever. But whenever I used to be committed to having like certain habits in the morning, like meditating, doing affirmations, gratitude, visualizing and something like that, I used to do these 4 things that took me like maybe an hour in the morning to do. And even if my day went like shit, I was still like happy because I was like, I did this for myself. So since I did this for myself, nothing can stop me. So like I can get in the most toxic situations ever and nothing can stop me. And that's something that I learned to do when I was with my ex, who was actually toxic and was actually really bad for me. But since we lived at a distance, I was able to like maintain these things. And then if there was some drama or anything happening, I was able to navigate things way better. But it just took a lot of effort and a lot of strength for me to kind of like keep those things. And the more time I kept those things, the better my life got. He ended up leaving my life and I ended up manifesting so many cool things. But the secret to all of this is just maintaining the things that are like, I'm doing this for myself and I'm doing this to be better. Because the more you invest time in doing things for you, because you want to do them and because you know that they're good for you, the better you're gonna be at navigating any kind of toxic situation. And the key is like, however bad a day gets, however bad a week gets, you continue to do those things for yourself, to be there for yourself. Because at the end of it, it's like, you need to be there for yourself. And if you start entering situations that may kind of like take you away from that, you need to be very, 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 very consistent with like staying with that. Because as I said, me as someone who is a bit codependent in that, and that I need to be working, and I am working on this in my relationship. It's something that it takes a lot of willpower from my side to be like, okay, my boyfriend supports me. My boyfriend is the first person that if I tell him like, look, I want to go to bed earlier, he's gonna be like, go to bed, like I don't want to distract you. But it's that part of me that sometimes needs the external validation or something that's just gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna stay a little bit longer just to be with him. No. You are more important, and it's important that you remember that you are like your top priority and everything else comes second, okay? So I hope that you like this video. I hope that it gave you something, and maybe if it called you out, that you start making these changes, implementing something. And if you wanna, in the comments, leave whatever change you're gonna be implementing for the first 5 minutes, or if you're gonna add something else because you're already doing one, feel free to do that so we can all like help each other out and empower each other and everything. And I'll see you guys next week.